we're going to review the patch notes, and we'll see what happens. Healing wells are now invulnerable. About 3 years too late, but at least we got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Forts increase the health. Keeps increase the health. Not a fan. Heroes rework. Rehgar. Attack damage from 106 to 115. Attack speed, however, reduced from 1.25 to 1.1, which means that there's likely a talent that says cooldown when you attack stuff. So let's see. Lightning Shield. Additional functionality. Each enemy hit by Lightning Shield restores 2 mana. So they're baking in one of his better talents. That was almost always the case. You always needed this talent. I think that's really good. Rehgar has really bad mana issues in general. Even 13 can't really save him. The old 13. And this gives you mana back. And it's each enemy hit. So on maps where there's a lot of minions, it's pretty good. Totem health increase from 217 to 326. That's a pretty big buff. I don't really think that's needed. And the reason that's hard is because it's auto attacks. I'm not a big fan of that. All Ghost Wolf information has been moved to the Z key. Activate to make an ally unstoppable for 0.5 seconds or slow an enemy hero by 80%, decaying over 2 seconds. Cannot be used on self. All right. I mean, I kind of like it. I kind of don't like it. And it makes decision making pretty interesting, though. Stormcaller move from level 4. New functionality. Increase lightning shield's radius by 25%. Probably not as necessary anymore. Each time lightning shield hits an enemy hero, permanently increase Rehgar's health by 2 and mana by 1. Look, I love stacking talents, but these are really bad for the game. I don't know why we keep going down this path. Doesn't really bother me anymore because, you know, whatever. I'm not a big fan of these types of talents in any capacity. It forces bad gameplay, promotes bad gameplay, very much so. And it makes it really... So, one, it promotes bad gameplay from the Rehgar player to do plays that they shouldn't really do. And most of the time, people aren't going to play Rehgar enough to actually do well on it. So you'll have your part-time healers and part-time Rehgar players using this and throwing a bunch of games. Conversely, the hard part here is most people, especially at higher levels, you have a feel for the game and an understanding of what the game traditionally feels like, which is why armor is such a hard thing to have in the game. Because you can't gauge how much damage you're doing the same way that you can when people have flat health bars. So once you get used to how much damage you do to a character, that works out really well. So you get an idea. It's like, okay, Rehgar's health bar is down here. Not everybody's going to look at the individual like increments of health, which do represent a number. Nobody really sees that. You just kind of see the full health bar amongst everything else, and it gives you an idea. This is where I think the problem is that increasing his health by 2 with a maximum of 300 stacks means 600 health. So it's going to be really hard to gauge Rehgar's health at the end. So the bad players are going to throw games on Rehgar, or even the medium players are going to throw games, which makes it really hard with talents like this. I think it's going to be fun for ARAMs. But then towards the end of the game, it's going to be almost impossible to gauge how much health Rehgar has and to be able to try and calculate that. And so your calculations and your mental... your memory of health bars is going to be affected. That's why I don't like talents. Oh, that increase health. Grounded totem move from level 7. No longer grants additional earthbind totem. That's good. Heroes affected by earthbind totem also have their spell power reduced by 25%. Increase range of earthbind totem. So they've baked a lot of talents in. I think that one's okay. I mean, that does require a bit of coordination. So we'll see what happens there. Feral Heart, new functionality. Entering or exiting Ghost Wolf form grants 20 armor for 2 seconds. Increased Ghost Wolf's movement by bonus to 40% for the first second, then fade to 30%. That's actually really good. That's borderline broken. Your Z is on a really short cooldown. Really short cooldown. So entering it can give you armor for 2 seconds. 2 seconds later, you can bite, and then you'll have another 20 armor. But it just says exiting. So just casting an ability can give you 20 armor. That's crazy. That's crazy. Earth Living enchant move from 13. Healing increased from 45 to 50. That's fine. The 4 talents were always really bad. Let's see what they did with that. Electric Charge, move from level 1. Lightning Shield heals its bearer for 20%. It's bearer, so this is different. So for 20% of the damage dealt to enemy heroes, this healing amount is doubled for Rehgar. That's crazy. So we're gonna get a bunch of Stormcaller Electric Charge Rehgars for sure. While damaging an enemy, you get 10% movement speed. Interesting. Healing Totem, health increase from 50 to 175. I don't think people realized how much or how little health it had, and people would often ignore it. Now scales at 0.04% per level. Healing Totem increased from 2 to 3% health per second. Healing Totem duration. Okay, so it heals more in a shorter time period. That's huge. So the part that people often forget is Healing Totem is 30 seconds. No other totem is that short a cooldown that supplies healing. So the decent amount of healing here is actually pretty nice. That's a lot of healing. So you can get a decent amount of healing in a short period of time for a huge AoE heal. That's a lot. Cleanse removed because you have a baked in one. Colossal Totem moved from level 1. No longer increases Earthbind totem range. Okay. Okay. Cooldown reduction or cooldown reduced from 2 to 1.5 seconds. Additional functionality: Ghost Wolf attacks restore 5% of Rehgar's maximum mana. Again, that's you're gonna see. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more, but that is a direct result of this. So they can be more active and giving you more proactive talents without being overly broken. Removing a slow, stun, root, or silence from an ally heals them for 260 and refunds 50% of Purge's cooldown. Using Purge on an enemy deals up to 330 damage to shields and reduces healing received by 40% for 3 seconds. That's a really good talent. It's a higher skill cap. That's a really good talent. Tidal Waves, heroic target cooldown reduction. Heroic target, okay. From 0.75 seconds to 1 second. Mana cost reduction increase from 15 to 20. That's a lot of healing throughput. Shield amount increase from 12 to 14. That's always going to be good when you play Ancestral. So this is more for long, drawn-out, less bursty fights. This is good for bursty, and if you go Ancestral, it allows you to shield then Ancestral. So getting that extra 2% is big. Could be the difference between keeping people alive or not. Wellspring, every 2 seconds, Earthbind Totem will cast an untalented chain heal at a nearby ally that heals for 40% of its normal value. That's not terrible. It's kind of weird. I imagine most people, the totem will just die a lot, but there's a lot of uncertainty variables with what they're doing here. A lot of uncertainty variables. Level 16, Rising Storm change functionality no longer grants Rehgar an untalented lightning shield, increases the duration of lightning shield by 3 seconds. This one was always good for so long to have the 2 lightning shields. Like, it was really neat to throw one on somebody else and then you go in and do a lot of damage. That was always good. Increase the duration of lightning shield by 3 seconds. That's pretty neat though. It can help with mana return. Obviously, I don't think that's terrible. I don't think that's terrible. I don't think it's anywhere near as good. Nowhere near as good. The old one was better. Initial functionality: Earthbind Totem deals 145 damage when first placed. That's a decent amount of damage. Hunger of the Wolf, damage and healing increased to 6%. What was that, 5% before? Yeah, 16 kind of fell off. That was pretty much a go-to for a lot, unless you went with the huge. And this one's actually better. So this is really good at setting up. I think this one's really good now. So this one should still have the huge slow on it. It says additional functionality. So you get a huge slow, plus you get a little bit of damage on them. At 145 is nothing crazy, but it does add up. Rewind gone, Storm Shield gone, so they got rid of old talents. Elemental Conduit. Activate to gain Lightning Shield and grant all nearby allied heroes a shield for 10% of their maximum health. Okay, so Storm Shield's down here. Each time this Lightning Shield hits an enemy hero, grant nearby allies a shield equal to 1.5% of their maximum health. The uncertainty variables continue to show up here. Computer office lights, 50%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see what this one. Pit Fighter. Gain 10% attack damage and 5% spell power for yourself and each nearby ally hero, stacking up to 5 times. At 2 or more stacks, purges cooldown refreshes 50% faster. Okay. There's so many uncertainty variables here. How much health will Rehgar have if he picks this one? How much in the way of shielding are we gonna get? How much of the cooldown are we gonna get? Like, did he use his purge correctly? Will he have the cooldown reduction again? I hope the sound is very much like a cleanse, so we have an idea. I hope this has a unique sound so that we actually know. You have to rely on visual and audible cues to be able to tell some of this, because you can't look at the entire screen all at once. So I really hope they included audio cues for these situations, else this is going to be extremely frustrating to play against, not knowing that, not knowing this, him entering and getting 20 armor over and over, changing the value of effective health pools over and over. How much damage is he going to do when he hits me? How can I reapproach this? They've basically made Rehgar a Rubik's Cube. I don't mind it. I think the rework is really fancy and really cool. I just don't like when I have to think so much about one character that's been a certain way for like 7 years. And then now I have to try and figure out too many different things about what's happening with one character while balancing a sea of other information. I think it's cool. I just really wish they didn't put so many variables on one character, because it's going to be impossible to tell, even with audio cues and visual cues, which, my God, if they don't have one for the cooldown reduction one, that one's going to be very frustrating. Very frustrating to play against. Auriel, Sacred Sweep, cast speed increased by 50%. That's great. That means they took away, they baked in the level 1 talent. Because that one is one way to guarantee it. If you tried to do this against any type of aggro character one, it's pretty rough. Cast time finish increase from 0 to 0.625. I think it's okay. Heavy Burden, additional functionality, increased detainment strength stun duration by 0.25 seconds. That's really cool. This is already getting close to being really good. I kind of like that. Will of Heaven, additional functionality, increase Auriel's basic attack damage by 10. That's really important because her level 7 is really underrated. As a matter of fact, let me close out of this game. And we'll go pull it up in the live version. So Auriel actually has a really good level 7 talent. I do think a lot of people are really bad at auto attacking, especially as a healer. They don't feel they need to auto attack, but she has a really good trait one. So getting additional attack damage further emphasizes the need for that talent. Wrath of Heaven additional functionality. Enemy heroes hit by the center area of Sacred Sweep or the terrain collision of Detainment Strike have their spell armor reduced by 10 for 3 seconds. I think that's good. Like if you don't go Reservoir and you didn't go the auto attack talent at level 7, then perhaps like you like this one a little more. Although any damage you do does increase your energy, so something to keep in mind. I don't think this one's bad. This one is far more reliable, so we'll have a much higher pick rate. This one I think would come by the way of group comps, to where you might see this in some type of competitive group. I'll show you that Auriel talent in a second. Hyper Shift, man, they continue to nerf this. Bye-bye Brightwing. Bye-bye Brightwing. I think it's time we can put Brightwing out to pasture. No new hero. No new hero. So let me show you guys what I was talking about with this level 7. Energized Cord increases the energy stored from Auriel's basic attacks to 120% of the damage against heroes. So this is really good at building your own energy and having a constant energy flow. If you know how to A-move and be able to help your team in other ways while also being aggressive, I think this is one of the better ones. This is good on maps like Tomb or areas where there's going to be globes, or maybe Infernal where you can pop out into the lane. This one is only if you have like a hyper carry that you can rely on, but I still think this is actually much more consistent than this. It's really good. If you're good at auto attacking, it's even better. The fact she has increased damage is great. Brightwing, I think might have just been sent to the Shadow Realm. That's nuts. She's still really good as an overall one, but that's a huge nerf. That doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot. That is a whole heck of a lot. I don't know if she'll recover from that. Dehaka has been pretty OP with a W build, which yours truly was the one that said it first and showed how to get it done. So having less health means he's not going to be able to do more. I think it's still really good if you play the build I talked about. Burrow cooldown reduction reduced from 6 to 3 seconds. Cooldown reduction reduced. Oh, that one's kind of big. This is still a really good talent. I would still recommend most people pick it, but going full W build even at 7 is actually pretty cool if it's in the right comp and your CC is not as important. Falstad cooldown reduced from 6 to 5 seconds. I think that's okay. This has been like so long. So much for so long. And then the talents that reduced trait and help gave cooldown or from the cooldown reduction, like stuff like that's been around for so long, and a lot of people can't go 5 seconds without taking damage, or let alone 6 seconds. So I think that just helps out Falstad players, and they raised the skill cap a lot, took away some of the easy talents, so now they'll allow better Falstads to get more value. And getting back into the fight maybe a little bit quicker if you had to retreat. Different things. Dishonorable Discharge, Lightning Rod damage, bonus per stack increase from 0.75 to 1% maximum remains. Man, they can't find a healthy balance for that, but at least that's a buff. Celestial Charge, final damage increase from 70 to 80. We know what this is like when Imperius gets buffs. Blaze of Glory, damage increase from 185 to 205. Changed functionality. Blaze of Glory deals additional damage with Valorous brand marks, but no longer consumes them. I think that's pretty cool. This kind of opens it up. Doesn't really change a whole lot. I think that's what we're going to see, a bunch of one-off talents that don't really matter. Jaina, damage to unlock reduced from 15,000 to 12,000. I think they found that most people weren't getting 15,000 damage by level 13, which is the traditional ice block level. And they're like, dang, man, like these Jainas have trouble doing damage. They do. They do. Yesterday I played Jaina. I didn't. Do not waste time, mortal. Winter's Reach, additional functionality, increase the missile speed of Frostbolt. Okay, finally. I don't know what took so long for these talents. I want you to understand that I, for the life of me, cannot figure out one of two reasons. Okay, and I'm open to insight into this. For some reason, Iron Skin and certain talents like this, for whatever reason, can never just be 22 seconds. They're always like from 20 down to 15, from 25 down to 20, from like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I don't know why. I don't know why. When Iron Skin went from 20 to 25 seconds, I'm like, this is a long time. That's a huge nerf. Why can't we just do 22 or 23 seconds? Is there something in coding that you can't do in less than 5 increments? Or is it just you like fancy round numbers? I don't know. There's a lot of talents that are like this. I don't know why I'm so worked up about this. I just really wanted to know why they felt like nerfing it by 5 seconds. Like, if you put it in percentage points, it's a huge nerf from 20 to 25. When you go 20 to 22, it's an average percent nerf, which is on par with other talents when you nerf them. You don't nerf them by like 20, 25%. Like, you nerf them by like 8 or 10 or 12. It's like, this was a huge nerf. So it's nice to see that's come back. Physical armor per basic attack from 8 to 10. I'm fine with that. Duration increase. I think they're finding like Johanna players can never get good at auto attacking. Most Johanna players, I'm going to be honest with you, don't even know that they have an auto attack. I'm not kidding. They know that they have a condemn and a punish. And all they do is they walk around in a circle, walk up, press W. When they got them all there, they press Q, and then they walk in a circle. Okay? So I like the fact that they're acknowledging the Heroes players have trouble auto attacking. I mean, 2.5 seconds is pretty good, but it's up to 4 seconds, which kind of makes this broken in the right hands. Not a huge fan of this. They're lowering the bar for bad players, but if it makes the character more popular, so be it.
Do not waste time, mortal. As I understand it,
I'm sorry, the truth is the truth.
not have that much of it.
The flail is more than just a cosmetic, yes. Additional functionality, shield glare deals 125% more damage. Yeah. That's nice, but hold your ground. Well, okay, here's where the 3 seconds went. And they reduced it to 2 seconds. Okay. I'm fine if they balance it out through a talent, but I think they realized that 25 seconds was too long while also keeping hold your ground in as a talent. So they either needed to get rid of hold your ground and put it at 20 seconds, or, which I think is probably the better option, or I guess do it this way. I mean, this kind of makes this a dead talent. Sins exposed increased from 2 to 3 seconds. We'll pull up Johanna real quick so we can talk about functionality here, or at least show it. So sins exposed, the healing reduction. I don't. Again, these are more coordinated environments. But this also puts more pressure. Like, that's a big buff. It puts more pressure on the enemy healer to heal properly, or have their timing down a little more. 2 seconds isn't that punishing. 3 seconds is a really long time if you're holding a heal. It's actually a lot. So 2 to 3 seconds. Like, if they made this 2.5, I'd say that's fair. But 3 seconds is actually a long time. And you won't really see like the effect. I think a lot of people have trouble identifying when to heal and when not to heal, and what they can hold out for, and who uses what abilities to save said person. So 2 seconds doesn't feel that much. 3 seconds is an eternity in this game. It's crazy. Steed charge, bonus iron skin duration, increase from 1 to 2 seconds. Increase the duration of iron skin by 1 second. So you can get this to have more iron skin, and if you did go the level 4 talent, so that would put it down. So you'd have lower downtime if you wanted to go this and this. So it's not, I'm talking about downtime between when it expires and when the next one is available, which could be something promising. Passive punish damage bonus increase from 25 to 50%. Was this the one that they nerfed before?
Calls us, my friend.
I don't know. I don't want to do the math there. It's nice to see that getting a little bit of love. It's still a good talent. Heaven's Fury, damage reduced from 75 to 68. Yeah, Johanna, pretty nutty, man. late game with that. Good overall changes. I like those. That level 4 talent is kind of weird though. Big as. Okay, so I'm hoping that they're making you have to choose between certain talents instead of letting them all be extremely oppressive. So increase the radius, increase steel trap radius, armor reduction. Actually, never mind. Never mind. So they're making you choose on whether you want 2 traps instead of having 2 traps, I guess, be extremely oppressive. They're now only letting you have 1 really oppressive trap. Okay, so I like the fact that they're moving that around. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Puckish Scamp. Additional functionality. Reduce both heroic cooldowns. Whatever. Lunara, Nature's Toxin. Just so you guys know, I had over a 60% Lunara win rate before everybody did, and most people didn't really change a whole lot, and they just discovered she's really good. This really sucks, though. Like, this hurts a lot. Because her damage comes so slow, it's more like an accumulation of dot damage, that nerfing it this much is going to be much more felt than something like this. And I actually think this is a massive, massive nerf. If they want to do this, they either need to take it down to like 34 or 35, because I promise you, her numbers are going to be dropping drastically. Or take this down even more to like 30, and then buff her auto attack damage so that it does feel like you're doing more immediate damage as opposed to passive damage. I hope that will be a compromise down the road. Probius. Oh, God. Probius shows up? You know it's a crazy patch when Probius shows up. Warp Rift. Duration reduced from 9 to 3 seconds. They explode on expiration? What? Okay, there better be, again, some type of animation or something to signify let's consider it like a flame strike, okay? Now, the reason this is important, okay, 3 seconds is a long time to get out of it. But let me paint a picture for you, okay? We'll have to look at the talents. Imagine a world where Probius is doing weird split push things. Because that never happens now. That never happens. Ever. Ever. And then he has a free flame strike every 6 seconds. And he doesn't have to do anything. Photon cannon attack period reduced from 1 to 1.4. Additional functionality no longer requires pylons to... Didn't I say this is what needed to be changed like a year or a year and a half ago? Like I said, this has to change. You cannot make it dependent on a trait. You have to make it dependent, or you can't make it dependent on a trait. I said this for like 2 years. Finally. While in a pylon's power field, gain 40% attack speed over 4 seconds and reveal nearby enemies. What? So you don't have to have that weird level 1 talent. Now prefers to acquire heroic enemies. Well, I'm glad that's a thing. Probius about to get super juiced. Okay, now if these talents add up in the same direction, watch out. Watch out. Okay? The fact that you have guaranteed damage all the time, now, mind you, his auto attack damage is still really bad. Increased returning disruption pulse damage from 70. Oh my goodness. For those that don't know, I did the math. I've been using Echo Pulse for a long time. It's actually been the better build for quite some time. Let's put this into perspective. 142 damage out, 142 damage back. It functions exactly like hammering on Falstad. That's 284 damage back and forth. It's really easy to hit. Now, let's go look at our boy Falstad. 80 damage out.
How's it going, Lottie?
80 damage back. That's 160. 95 damage if you exploded around them, which technically isn't too hard. So that's basically the exact same. So not only, I mean, this one is an AoE damage, so you can't like buff it up that much, but you basically have hammering now. You have hammering officially. It actually supersedes hammering. This has actually been the better one for quite some time. Yeah, they removed the functionality because they put it at baseline. That's crazy. That's crazy. 35% more damage. So that's actually pretty neat to go with that. I still think this is OP. Let's see. Particle Accelerator. After hitting 4 heroes with Disruption Pulse, the next Warp Rift detonated by Disruption Pulse fires 4 pulses for 71 damage. Reduce Disruption Pulse's cooldown by 0.5 seconds. That's the real value here. Okay? I kid you not. It's like a machine gun Probius. I'm not kidding. This thing is nuts. So you just cast this out over and over and over again. All right. Who can guess what the cooldown of Probius's Q is? Who can guess what Probius's cooldown is on the Q? Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds. The cooldown reduction is 3 seconds. Why is that important? Well, I'm going to show you why that's important. So imagine you're a little Probius and you got hammering baseline now and you're feeling pretty good. You're like, oh yeah, let's go. Now, this one does reduce the cooldown of Disruption Pulse by 0.5 seconds plus an additional 0.5 seconds whenever a Warp Rift explodes. This reads differently. Reduce Disruption Pulse's cooldown by 0.5 seconds. So what does that look like to a regular person? No audio. Bro, get off me, man. What are you doing?
Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
So let's try this again.
Choose a talent.
Let's get this enemy here off so he doesn't bother me. So this is if I press my Q out and back. It does good damage. Get out of here. Get out of here. I miss. I bring it back. It's fine. I miss. Watch the cooldown. Apparently I need mana. That is why. So I can cast it and like get it the second time out. Like I can now change the order in which I cast. So that extra half second means that you can shoot it out before it ever goes again. It's crazy. We're not gonna spend too much time there. New functionality: exploding warp rift within 1 second of its arming, deals 90 damage over 3 seconds. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna play Q build. Pylon overcharge, duration reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. Can only target enemy here. I mean, I guess that's good. Additional functionality: pylons are invulnerable. Now that's huge. That's actually huge. That means you no longer, if you die of a Probius, you no longer have a counter by way of just killing the pylon, which is how you deal with pylon overcharge. What? Probius is going to be insane. Shoot him up. Q at 20. Well, this should be good. Disruption Pulse deals 2... Deals 2.5% of enemy heroes' maximum health as damage. Reduce disruption pulses cooldown by 0.5 seconds. Now, here's what I need to know. I'm not on the PTR. Does it deal 2.5% on the way out? And does it deal 2.5% on the way back? And now you have another half-second cooldown. You are literally a machine gun Probius with invulnerable pylon overcharge. Nobody pushes you. This is the real rework right here. Raynor. See, here we go. Look at this. Damage bonus increase from 10 to 12%. See, we're looking at 2, not 5, not this, not that. I'm good. Let's go. 10 to 12%. This is okay. Let Raynor have his place in the meta as a normal character. Easy. Heavy slugs duration. Get out of here. Mark duration increase from 2. Armor reduction. Okay, that's a little scary. Maximum armor reduction increase from 20. Oh. Well, that's a little scary. That's a little scary. Ace in the hole being slightly buffed is good for the game. It's good for the game. Okay. I know a lot of people probably aren't a big fan of that, but they should be. They should be. Story? Let's see. Yeah. I don't like that talent at all. Stukov. They nerfed him like crazy, but now they're like, well, maybe we should give him some type of value somewhere else. So they nerfed his health, and they nerfed his healing. Okay, I read these backwards. Stukov needs to get in line. Okay. Tyrande, Lunar Blaze maximum bonus increase from 100 to 150%. So real briefly to talk about Tyrande, the reason why this is good is because it pierces, and the reason why pierce is good is because most people don't read what their trait does, which is, or excuse me, what your passive is on your Light of a Loon. Every time Tyrande hits an enemy hero with a basic attack or damages an enemy hero, you get cooldown, which is why you started to see the surge there. This will be good in coordinated environments. If you have a blow up comp, you should run this. I still like trait build. I did a video on it. I think it's pretty neat. The fact that they're buffing it even more is actually pretty cool. Mark of Mending, range increase. That's actually, I guess, something that needed to be done. Now looks to heal allies near the attack target rather than near Tyrande.
I have better things to do than to stand here.
Okay. Kind of like it. Harsh Moonlight duration, that's fine. Damage decrease from 6 to 7% of target's health. Where are we at? Power. They're nerfing the W talents here and trying to bring other stuff into play, which is fine. I don't think this is crazy. If you hit somebody with this, you should be able to follow up. If you hit somebody with this, 1% is fine. It's more about pairing with this, which is fine. Healing bonus increase from 50 to 75%, very much needed to keep it in play. Slow increased from 40 to 60%. That's actually a lot. That's a lot. That means more hits, which means more kills, which means more healing. It's pretty powerful. Together we are strong for Zarya. Changed functionality. Talent effects now last 3 seconds instead of for the duration of the shield. I mean, I guess that's fine to pass through more energy. That's not Zarya. That looks very different than Zarya. I forgot she's a support.
Hello, friend.
What was that? Together we are strong. I never really liked this. But I guess this now gives you a bigger window to like shield more aggro heroes. Whatever. Energy gains increase from 1 to 2. This is one of the newer talents. Hitting a hero with particle grenade.
Don't just stand around. Do something.
Moving on. Bug fixes. Well, there sure are a lot here. Corrected death dealer damage bonus.
How about we queue for the match? I
Corrected
can't
variance
wait for
physical
some
blade damage,
real
shielded
competition.
heroes. Radiance no longer reduces white man's armor. Okay, so the real winner is Probius. The real big winner and big loser are both Rehgar and actually Rehgar.
Don't just stand around.
Brightwing
Do
is a
something.
big time loser. Auriel, that's good. Auriel buffs are pretty neat, even though they're minimal. This Rehgar thing, man, I'm not a fan of. I'm glad that they reworked them. I'm glad for some of the changes, but the way they designed it, I think is really, really bad for the game. I should be able to know whether my ability is going to kill somebody to the best of
How
my
about we
knowledge
queue for
without
the
having to
match?
calculate
I can't wait for some
100
real
different things
competition.
already from around the character, let alone 100 things on the character specifically.